All right. Thank you guys for joining here today. Today we're gonna learn a little bit about Markiplier. This is kind of a learning experience for me, so you'll have to bear with me if I can't go too into depth on any of the bullet points that you might come across here. But hopefully, I mean, I want this to be a little interactive. So if anyone has the answer to a question, at any point or whatever, feel free to chime in. Um, all right, let's get it started. So this isn't going to quite explain everything you need to know about Markiplier or about Iron Lung, but hopefully by the time we end this, you'll have an understanding of why this movie is such a big deal and why millions of people care about this guy. So first, I'm going to establish my credentials to cover this. I game. I watch YouTube. So I've been aware of Markiplier's existence. I had an ex Victoria who watched it constantly. So I'm basically an expert by proximity. I did a bunch of research this morning. So oh shit, I went. There we go. So who is Markiplier? He is a YouTuber. Let's get that out of the way. But he goes by Mark Edward Fishback. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Born in 1989. Born in Honolulu, raised in Cincinnati. Half Korean, half German, American. His dad was in the military, so that's why he was born in Hawaii. But he grew up in Cincinnati. It's the wild part about him is, yeah, he's famous and known as a YouTuber, but he was actually studying biomedical engineering and was only a couple semesters away from graduating before he dropped out to do YouTube, which is a pretty bold move. Yeah, basically. So who cares? Like, right? Like, he's a YouTuber. Um, but here's why. By the numbers, this dude's yeah, he's 38 million subscribers, 23 billion plus views, and Forbes has ranked him as the third highest paid YouTuber in 2022. His net worth is estimated around $35 million. He won 4 Streamy Awards and a Golden Joystick Award. So he's not, just some small creator. He's one of the biggest on the platform. He plays video games. People watch. He's entertaining. You know, yeah, he's basically an entertainer. So the origin story. Back in 2012, that was his year from hell. He went through a breakup. He lost his job. Got kicked out by his mom. He had an emergency appendectomy, and he was hospitalized for an adrenal tumor. Most people would give up, but Mark started a YouTube channel. And then when YouTube banned his first channel, he had to start again from scratch. The current channel Markiplier, yeah, his current channel Markiplier is actually his second try. Uh, Wait, so that's all good. It's all good. Somebody asked about like why he was banned. Apparently, it had something to do with AdSense. I think he had some like I don't know what he did exactly, but it had to do with um, how he was advertising or something. I had to dig into that a bit more. Yeah, so his first channel had about 94,000 subscribers, and then he had the AdSense issues, and then it got banned, and then he started the next. He moved to Markiplier Game, which he then renamed later to Markiplier. And he's talked openly about how 2012 was the worst year of his life, but also his turning point. And the adrenal tumor specifically made him realize life is short, because that is, you know, that can be fatal. All right, moving on. Markiplier's rise to fame. So his breakout was playing Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which is a horror game. But what really made him explode was Five Nights at Freddy's in 2014. His first Five Nights at Freddy's video was over 114 million views. He didn't just play the game; he helped make it famous. There's an argument that without Markiplier and other YouTubers, Five Nights at Freddy would never have become the phenomenon it is today, which is probably true. That game, I don't know if y'all have played that game before, but it's fucking frustrating. Yeah. But yeah, Mark's played every Five Nights at Freddy game since. It's his tradition. And he was actually asked to be in the Five Nights at Freddy movie, but he couldn't because of Iron Lung scheduling. Um, he was supposed to play the security guard killed in the opening scene, which would have been kind of neat. That's true.
Oh.
That's crazy. That's it. All right, so we touched on it a little bit earlier, but so what does he actually do? He mostly does Let's Plays of indie horror games. He's known for his genuine, over the top reactions, and the guy actually does get scared. He also does deep lore analysis, which his fans love, and he collaborates with other big creators like Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, and he's made these wild interactive films on YouTube where you choose your own adventure. And if you don't know what a Let's Play is, I'm pretty sure everyone here does, this audience, but it's basically where you record yourself playing a game while you add your own commentary.
A hair transplant?
I don't know. Does he not have that anymore? Yeah, maybe. When you have, that much money, you can probably just like buy somebody's hair, their hair follicles or whatever. So beyond gaming, he's not just a gamer anymore. He co-founded a clothing brand called Cloak with Jacksepticeye. He has a podcast named Distractable that hit #1 on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. He starred in The Edge of Sleep on Amazon Prime last year, and in 2023 he signed with United Talent Agency, which is an actual legit Hollywood agency. So yeah, if you're not familiar with Cloak, I wouldn't blame you, but I wasn't either. But yeah, Cloak is a clothing brand that has like a gaming focus. It's basically gaming focused athleisure. And if you're familiar with who Pokimane is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, oh yes. Uh, anyway, Pokimane, they joined Cloak as a partner in 2020. Let's see here. Yeah, so he also has a podcast called Go, My Favorite Sports Team, which is comedy about sports with Tyler Sheed. I don't know who that is. Anyway, I think we're gonna move on. This slide doesn't have much more to add. Yeah, this was interesting. So apparently, in 2019, Mark and a guy named Ethan Nestor created a channel called Anus. It's Latin for 1 year, and the deal was basically they'd upload a video every single day for the year, and then delete the entire channel at the end of the year. So everything was just be gone forever. It was meant to be like short-lived, ephemeral. They hit 4.56 million subscribers, and they did a final 12-hour live stream with 1.5 million people watching. And at midnight on November 14th, 2020, they deleted it all. So it's gone. You can't watch it, and that was the point. Yeah, there's probably people that download it, but maybe not. If it was kind of niche and mostly like his diehard fans watching it, they might have been like, out of respect. I'm sure you can find it. But yeah, they apparently did like weird shit like cooking with sex toys, escape rooms, bizarre challenges. Yeah. So
Sorry, cooking with sex
that
toys?
yeah, cooking with sex toys, I guess if a dildo is clean, you can like stir a soup with it. I don't know. That sounds weird.
A what?
We're not going to get into that. Let's not get sidetracked. So actually, yeah, people have re-uploaded content, but Mark actively discourages it because it kind of misses the whole point. But it won a Streamy Award for Best Collaboration. Interesting. So next slide, Charity King. So charity work is really where Mark has stood out. He's raised over $3 million for charity through live streams. In 2018, he sold a tasteful nudes calendar and raised $490,000 for the Cancer Research Institute. His dad unfortunately died of lung cancer in 2008, but that is why he focuses on cancer charities. And he won the Oliver R. Grace Award for his contributions and was Make-A-Wish's Celebrity of the Year in 2016. Uh-huh. So yeah, the tasteful nudes calendar was classy and artistic. I mean, it wasn't really explicit. Um, I should have included some pics from that. I want to
We
keep
have to
this
put the
family
money
friendly.
down.
Yeah, I didn't want to risk that. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. All right, you guys ready for this next one? I told you, I promised you some salacious tidbits. So, Markiplier, the OnlyFans saga. Yeah, so Markiplier, he has an OnlyFans, but not like you're thinking. He promised fans he'd make one if they completed 3 challenges. They had to make Distractable, one of his podcasts, the #1 podcast. They had to make his podcast #1 and pay to watch his documentary. But fans actually completed all 3 of those challenges much faster than they expected. And in December 2022, he launched with the Tasteful Nudes, basically artistic, OnlyFans subscription. So nothing too explicit. I'm sure he didn't do any helicopter type shit. But he did he did have a stint on OnlyFans. That is where you are you familiar with meatspin.com? It's out of scope. It's out of scope for this presentation, but I would recommend pop over to that, and then you'll know exactly what the helicopter is. uh, Scope creep. But yeah, so when he announced the OnlyFans thing, he basically just did a video titled "Here," dot dot dot, which was the first of 3 drops of content. And this announcement pretty much crashed the website. Yeah, and so this was an extension of his 2018 Tasteful Nudes calendar, and it was pretty much a troll or whatever, but like his fans completed the challenges, so he made it happen. All right, so his personal life. So on the personal side, Mark married his longtime girlfriend Amy Nelson in September 2025 after being together for 10 years. His older brother Tom is actually a successful comic artist, and he created the webcomic Two Kinds. Mark isn't religious, but here's something interesting. His mom published a book last month called Markiplier from North Korea about their family history. So his family actually fled North Korea, and so there's a whole documentary about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably his mom.
Is it his mom? I'm not sure. Let me see. Yeah, I don't have that on top of me. I'm sorry, on hand, notes wise. I think it was his mom, so it was probably his, mom's parents. Yeah. Yeah, he's half German, half Korean. So, half North Korean, that's right. The hard times. So it hasn't all been success. Mark's dad died of lung cancer in 2008, like mentioned before, when he was just 19, that's a tough age to lose your dad. In 2015, his roommate and collaborator Daniel Kieran from the channel Sindago died by suicide, and Mark took a month off YouTube to grieve. And then in 2018, his stepniece Miranda was killed in a car accident at 19. He's been through a real tragedy and has always been honest with his audience about it. He takes breaks when he needs to and talks openly about grief. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't want to linger on this one. Maybe a little too long. It's kind of depressing. But Daniel Kieran was found in critical condition after a suicide attempt, and he was taken off life support 2 days later. So it wasn't like a sudden thing. That kind of adds a level of, extra fucked upness. Yeah. So yeah, so after the month of his hiatus to kind of grieve, he came back and hit 10 million subscribers shortly after. So, yay, right? And so yeah, yeah. After his stepniece died, he raised money for her funeral, which was nice, and then he's advocated for mental health awareness. All right, moving on. Now let's talk about why we're here. Iron Lung is a 2022 indie horror game by David Szymanski. And so the premise, I wonder, I mean, have all of you seen the trailer or no? I'm not saying, yeah. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, gotcha. Anyway, I'm just kind of going to go into the premise. But it's a post-apocalyptic future. Um, Something called the Quiet Rapture made all the stars and habitable planets vanish. This is the premise of the game. Hopefully this isn't just. Or let me just make sure my notes aren't gonna reveal any spoilers here. Yeah, no. So basically, he's piloting a tiny submarine called the Iron Lung, and he can't see anything outside. He has to navigate. You navigate in the game by taking photos and checking coordinates. The game builds like a claustrophobic feeling, and it's another horror like terrifying type spook you game. So Mark played it on his channel and loved it. So yeah, so as Preston mentioned, yeah, David Zizmansky. He also made Dusk and some other retro style horror games. The game Iron Lung is a short game. It's like under an hour, but it's intense. I have never played it, to be honest. I might go track it down, give it a shot. Yeah, so you take photos, see what's outside, and they take time to develop. Something's in the water with you. So yeah, it sounds interesting. Iron Lung in the movie. So Mark loved it so much he decided to adapt it into a movie, but not just star in it. He wrote it, directed it, edited it, produced it, and financed it himself, without any studio backing. Yeah, he shot it at Troublemaker Studios in Austin, Texas. The movie is 127 minutes of claustrophobic horror. All right, strap yourself in for a 2-hour movie. This is his theatrical directorial debut. He's made interactive films before, but this is his first real movie in theaters. Yeah. So the movie was actually officially done, post production, whatnot, 18 months ago. But I guess that it's taken a long time to negotiate releasing. But now it's finally happening, and y'all are going to see it, so that's exciting. So here's a wild fact: Iron Lung used over 80,000 gallons of fake blood. which beats the previous record holder, which is the Evil Dead remake from 2013. They used over 50,000. Mark got so much fake blood in his eyes during filming that he had to go to the hospital on his birthday. That's commitment. Right? That's crazy. So Mark's hospital visit was widely reported, but he recovered just fine. Yeah, and so the whole movie takes place in a submarine in a blood ocean, so the whole, breaking that record makes sense. So the Iron Lung cast, and if you're getting a little tired here or whatever, I get it, but there's like 3 slides left, so bear with me. The cast is stacked with internet personalities. Mark plays Simon. Jacksepticeye plays a character named Jack, which is convenient. Troy Baker, legendary video game voice actor, plays David. And the game's creator actually has a cameo. Hopefully that wasn't a spoiler, but whatever. You can keep an eye out for that. David Zizmansky. Yeah, right? It's like an internet all-stars team. I've never watched this guy. I've heard of him a lot, but I've never actually seen any of his stuff. Yeah. Okay. So here's the craziest part. Mark couldn't actually find a distributor, or he chose not to use one in the end, but he basically distributed the film himself. He started by booking 60 theaters, and then he told his fans, if you really want to see this, call your local theater and request it. And so all his fans did, and the movie expanded to over 4,100 theaters. That's pretty fucking wild. He literally built his own distribution through fan demand, which is unprecedented for a first-time director with no studio backing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. Fun facts and tidbits. So some random fun facts. Mark originally wanted to be a voice actor, not a YouTube. The name Markipliers, and I was kind of curious about this myself years ago, but like where does that come from? It's Mark plus multiplier, and apparently he thinks it's stupid now. So we covered the Five Nights at Freddy thing already. Yeah. He's been on Jimmy Kimmel. Whoop-de-doo, okay? And he was in Forbes 30 under 30. That's impressive, okay. You know what? No, I haven't. That's true. I can never keep, I can't keep my Jimmys straight. I can't remember if it's Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon that I don't like. I think it's one of the two. Yeah, maybe Jimmy Kimmel's the one that's all right. I can't remember. Anyway, moving on. So why should you care? Mark pioneered the reaction gaming content that dominates YouTube now, and he's built his empire from nothing twice. He had to start over. So after his first channel was killed, he's proved that YouTubers can make legitimate theatrical films, and he's used his platform to raise millions for charity. He's been incredibly transparent about mental health, grief, and hard parts of life. And he's not just an entertainer. He's kind of a model for what content creators can become. Yeah. His charity work is consistent and substantial, not just PR. Other creators have actually cited him as an inspiration. So it's nice to have like a good role model on YouTube, especially when you got a bunch of kids watching that shit. So true. So, yeah. Well, now you know something. So that's Markiplier. From a guy who hit rock bottom in 2012, started a YouTube channel that got banned, started again, became one of the biggest creators ever, raised millions for charity, launched an OnlyFans that crashed the site, and now has a movie in 4,100 theaters that he distributed himself. When you're watching Iron Lung, remember, that's 80,000 gallons of fake blood and one guy's 10-plus year journey from his mom's house in Cincinnati to Hollywood. Any questions?